So I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Village Board of Trustees. The first item on the agenda is citizen comments. Are there any citizen comments? Anybody online? Eric? No. Okay. Citizen comments? No. Second item is additions to and deletions from the posted agenda. Anything, Eric?
No.
Trustees?
No.
Nothing? No. Next item on the agenda is sidewalk permit request from Dr. Coburn's Tonic, which you have in front of you. Go ahead.
I just noticed that
Tell us who you are.
I am Bob Crow. I'm the operator of Dr. Coburn's Tonic in Woodstock. And I'm here today to hopefully get a permit approved for outside dining, sidewalk dining, with serving alcoholic beverages. First of all, thank you very much. And I do. What's that?
Say not or
Or serving alcoholic beverages.
yes or no.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Before I begin, thank you very much for coming out, especially at 8:30 in the morning, a non-scheduled meeting, and I do appreciate it. Whether or not you approve the permit, I truly do appreciate the time and effort. So this is basically what was submitted, with the exception of any information or language for the barrier, which I did not include the first time. So now it's in here with all the measurements. It's a kind of a rough sketch of stuff, but it is accurate.
Hand it a second.
Isn't that one here?
Yeah, you brought in a new one.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a new one. And I noticed that in here is not what's not in here is the certificate of insurance and the permit state for outside consumption. And that is with Nikki already.
Okay.
So she has those two, which will be included, which is already included. So actually the attachment A is where we should go to the fourth page. The third page, attachment A. That kind of tells you where we are.
Let's see this one.
What I'm looking for is approval for 16 tables, 11 on the Elm Street side of the French Cabin and 5 on the Central Street side, with barriers. And each table of the 16 tables, each table is 30 by 30 inches. What I did was I put together a very accurate measurement wise of where the tables would be against the building, where the barrier would be, all measured out, and then the distance from the barrier to the curb. And this is accurate, okay? It's not drawn to scale, but the measurements are absolutely accurate. Interestingly enough, this is just this depicts one 3-section table. There are going to be 5 sections. This is just one of them, but all 5 are the same dimensions. In other words, tables against the wall, space between the tables are all the same. Space to the barrier are all the same. And then from the barrier to the curb are all the same. And I put in there also not only the measurement from the barrier to the curb, but as you know, there are trees planted, and there's also a light hangs the flower pots, and that's in here also.
And this is Elm Street.
That's Elm
Okay.
Street. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
There's more room on the Central Street side.
Yeah.
Wider side.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Between the wall of the facade of the building and the curb is 9.9 feet 7 inches, or 115 inches. Between the table and the barrier, which is going to be a rope with wooden stanchions placed 1, 2, 3, and then on the side of the on Central Street.
So like what you have set up right now?
I have one of the, what I did was I set up one for measurement purposes.
Yeah.
With just cones and which you can see. Okay, that's not going to be it. That's
Okay.
not, believe me, that's not it. I'm going to get wooden stanchions, and I will have a nice rope that, or I think I even saw something better at Home Depot yesterday that I'm going to use the chain.
Okay.
with the plastic on it, and
Okay.
it's very light, and it will act as a barrier. So that's what I'm going to use. But these, like I said, there's plenty of room for the passage of the pedestrians and, of course, more importantly, any kind of a wheelchair coming through. Just a couple of words. I mean, the thing about, we've done this, this is the 5th year. It's been extremely popular. And it's really one of the few places where the people who, it's amazing how many people have their dogs with them when they come to Woodstock. I mean, probably 70% of them. Dog on leash, looking for a place to eat and a place to drink. And this is one of them. And it's very popular. And people love it. And also the pedestrians walking their dogs, always stop and the dogs will talk to each other. And there's never been a problem. I don't even think I've ever seen one fight between the dogs. I mean, that's unusual.
I mean, I have, but that's.
Yeah.
That's probably not like-
Not a lot. I mean, it's, but, what I did was, instead of, just to show you, I took the pictures of the building and the X's, as you can see, mark off where the tables will be. I didn't want to go through, putting everything out,
Yeah.
putting stanchions out, if in fact it wasn't going to be approved. And, if it isn't, it isn't, but I didn't want to go through the exercise of doing it. I'd have to pull everything back in again. There'll be 5 on Central Street, and the rest of them will be on Elm Street. Like I said, this is the 5th year, never had a problem. The other interesting thing is just to point out, and it doesn't necessarily enter into the decision-making, but the control officer, the control officer visits every year. Every year she visits because she looks for our outside permit. And she said, where is it? And we don't have to have it posted outside, but we do have to have it posted inside, which we do. And she comes in, she looks for it, and she's okay, thank you. I mean, she knows in the past there hasn't been any barrier. Now, why? Does she not question it? I have no idea. No idea. As long as we have the permit. That's what she was interested in. So I'm not saying we're not going to do it. I'm not saying we don't need it. I'm just saying it's interesting that she never really said, hey, you can't do this. You need a barrier. Questions?
I have a question because I'm just trying to remember from what we did in previous years. Jeffrey, maybe you I think. I thought last year we didn't allow the tables on Central.
Yeah, you did.
We did.
Did?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and they never went out.
He didn't,
Oh,
do
that
it.
was-
Never went out.
He didn't do it last year, but he did in
Previous years, yeah.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
gave the permit, but we just, because I didn't.
Yes,
remember
I just
seeing-
wanted approval for them. And you know what? I don't even know if I'll put them out this year.
Okay,
Yeah, and the other thing is, business has not been what you'd call brisk. It
yeah.
just hasn't been. 23 was a bad year, and so far this year, it's not great. It really
What's
is.
your capacity inside?
What's that?
What's your seating capacity inside?
125.
So you've got 125, and then this would add, how many tables did you say you had?
32 seats.
Okay, so this would give you 157. Okay.
So
Having the staff.
are you gonna be open Mondays? Which would be a.
Try to open
realistic-
this Monday.
Yep.
Because it's a holiday, and here's the problem, I don't have staffing. I just don't have staffing. That's another reason why I didn't put tables on Central Street. Don't have the staff to do it.
Monday's just a very difficult food day in the village.
Yeah. I would love to. Love to. Whatever happened to the food truck? Is that coming or
They're still working on the actual truck.
Yeah,
working on the truck? Okay.
There'll be a food truck there for Pride.
I have, the other concern is it's worry about people falling over the rope, running into the rope
No, it's gonna be waist high or more, higher.
in my world.
I'll tell you what people fall over. And it's, well, I'm gonna tell you anyway. The trees, where the trees are all planted in the sidewalk, all the sidewalks are heaved, that's where people fall. That's what they trip over. Every single year. Older people looking around, looking across the street, looking for directions, looking to see where they are.
Is that because?
And they trip right over them. What's that?
no,
The sidewalk
that's
narrow?
because the,
No, the trees were planted and they're beautiful, but they were they were put in when they
Okay, yeah.
probably had 2 square inch
Get that,
stem.
not because the sidewalk's narrow, because of the sidewalk was when there
Oh.
wouldn't be tripping.
But now that they've grown to the extent that they have, they're lifting the
Happens.
surrounding
Right, but you see
concrete up.
street.
That's where people
Have
fall.
anything.
Central Street's worse than Elm Street. Central Street is awful.
Oh, but that's not his problem.
No, I get,
That's the town's
I
problem.
get that.
I mean, Dave would know what
used to
was
have
here.
covers
So,
He's been called to many
question, Will?
situations.
Yeah, hold on, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, sorry, we can't have any side stuff. Thank you, Jeffrey. So do you have anything else more to present to us? Thank you.
Not really, no.
Then let's move on to, are there, in case anybody's online, is anybody online?
No.
Yeah, okay. So there's probably no citizen comments. Okay, so let's go into questions from the trustees.
So on the, you have chairs on either side of the table.
2 chairs.
Yes, you're not going to allow them on the other side, correct?
Which side? Coming out to the barrier?
Yes.
No, no,
No,
I'd love to, but I can't.
right, okay, so that's important.
Yeah,
Um, Then you run into problems with the barrier and so forth. The other question I have is, if we approve this.
Yep.
How quickly can you get to something? I assume this is just for this weekend?
yes,
But you're gonna have
Yes.
these cones up this weekend?
yeah, but here's what I'm gonna do this weekend. Chairs and tables are out. I'm going to block off probably 4 tables. Okay, for alcoholic beverage, or maybe 5 tables. That'll be it. The rest will be for food only. And then by Tuesday of next week, I'll have the wooden barriers and the good roping put in, for the rest of it.
So this is very temporary.
Well,
So-
well, that's, yeah, I just wanted to, like I said, I didn't want to get into too much time and effort and expense. If
Okay,
it wasn't gonna
all
be
right,
approved.
thank you. I
So
don't-
if for this weekend, you're gonna have this set up, I took pictures as I was driving by so I could figure it out. But so this is, so the way, got your picture too. So for Memorial Day weekend,
This one here,
okay, so your intention is to have it set up with cones?
that is correct, yep, but just designated tables, maybe
So
4.
which ones?
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move the cones, so when you come out the front door, or, I'm sorry, looking at the front door, to the right, there's 3 tables. I'm gonna do those.
Okay.
Which go right into Wetmore and real estate.
Yeah.
That side, and on the left-hand side of the door, there's 3 other tables, so there'll be 6 tables. I'll put barriers up just like this. The rest of them, if they wanna sit down and eat,
So
Food?
so these 3 tables sort of like on either side of your door?
yes,
Okay.
Yep.
And have you, for the, I'm sorry, finish asking you.
We did.
For the Central Street side.
Yep.
I just have a concern about, and it's not a legal thing, but just a neighbor thing. John has like advertisements, he's got windows there, so now if there's tables out on Central Street,
he loves it. John loves the people sitting there.
okay.
The exposure is much, much more.
Except
Yeah.
for there's tables where his real estate
Well,
likes-
yes and no. I mean, yes, there are, but he has no, matter of fact, I spoke to John
Okay,
3 years ago. And he said, no, that's great. I love the people all around my shop looking at the pictures and sitting there looking at the pictures. I mean, that's
at their feet.
at their feet, yep. John loves the activity around the building, where people, instead of just walking by, they're stationary and they're looking.
So I have a concern about this weekend having those cones out. It's just as ugly.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, I
I can get different stanchions. I mean, I can't, I put it
yeah, and
down.
I know that this was just like trying to figure it out.
And not just because of that, because this is an accurate depiction
Yeah.
of the measurements.
Yes,
And whether or not servers can reach over and get food to the table as opposed to walking down the sides, and they can.
oh, so the servers will stand on the outside of.
Yes,
So that means that when servers are on the outside of the road, people can't walk past them.
well,
It's just a question.
um,
So as somebody walking down the street or walking down the sidewalk is gonna have to wait for
no,
a server to
well,
move.
no, and that, it's hard to say. I mean, they can come in. I'm just talking about walking out and handing something over, which takes about 3 seconds.
Or taking an order, which might take.
No, I think to take an order, they're gonna have to walk into the table. Walk in and give them a menu, and then come over and take their order.
There's room,
And they can.
there's room between the
yeah,
row.
eh? Yeah,
table,
we can
then
walk
put
inside. I mean, it's just the
server
idea
to
of,
to walk. There's room between the rope and the table. for
Yes.
The server to stand inside that rope.
yes, 20
To
inches.
take the order.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you have your servers stay within the rope for all of service?
We can't, yeah, oh, for all service, yeah.
That would be better than trying to reach over the.
Yep. I'm talking about walking out and just handing something to instead of walking inside, just to speed it
You
up.
can't bring the alcoholic beverage around the rope. Whole point of the rope is to keep. the
Oh, yeah, it
alcohol
has to
inside
stay
the rope.
inside the rope.
So what do we hand?
Ketchup, salt, pepper.
But I think
I
like,
think service. needs to
Roll
be behind
ups.
that Rope,
yeah. I
one
agree.
hundred percent of the time, no service outside of that rope.
I mean, that's my concern because the point of, you know, these, and we've talked about this with other people, like the rules that are on our books are 5 feet, right? There has to be 5 feet. That's what the rules are in front of me right now. There has to be 5 feet of sidewalk at all times. We have in the past, and this is something that we need to update, we have made an exception and a compromise because we know things can't go out on the sidewalk. If we enforced that, we have narrowed it down to 3 because that is the national rule, that is the state rule. So that 3 feet, that has to be open at all times. We are already compromising from 5 to 3. So that 3 feet has to be open for pedestrians, dogs, wheelchairs, whatever, at all times. That's why I'm agreeing with him that's saying, if you want to serve people, we're going to give you this space. Your permit is for this space, not for the space outside of it.
Yeah.
And so if somebody puts tables together and moves chairs around, it's obviously, you guys know how to manage that. I understand customers do what customers do.
They all do. Yeah.
I was a
That's one of the
hostess.
biggest problems.
Yeah, I was a hostess for a long time. I totally, and I think that you shouldn't.
And even when you tell them not to, you turn around when you come back out with their
100%.
Pepsi and they've
Yes.
rearranged the furniture.
Yes, and
Do
so
that
that's
inside
something,
too.
but it's your permit.
Yep.
So you're required to manage that. And then with dogs, and I love dogs being outside, but like the dogs got to stay within that barrier. And I know, again, that's something that you all have to manage and police, but that would be my expectation that if somebody comes down with a stroller, that a dog doesn't jump out at a kid. Or I'm walking down with my 120-pound large dog that the 2 of us can fit down and that there's not going to be a dog jumping out at her. And dogs will do what dogs will do. But the permit will be for this space, not the space on the other side, right? Like we have to keep that open because we are already compromising on the 5 feet.
Well, you actually have 65 inches from the barrier to the curb. From the barrier to the curb is more than 5 feet now.
Yeah, so,
Yep.
but I'm saying we have to, our rule says 5 feet at all times, so
Mhm.
the space that we give you, and if there are some places here that you show that with the tree, it's 4 feet something.
Yep.
That we are giving you extra space. We are going against our own rules. We are making an exception.
No, I
So-
understand.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying,
Mhm.
let's keep all the serving within the rope, let's keep all the dogs, the people, and I know that it is a moving target with customers.
Yep.
But when you take on the permit, you take on all the rules, so that's why I'm saying I agree with Frank that everything needs to happen inside that rope. Because now we have an easy demarcation line. Last year, when I talked to your manager, we talked about just before we realized we needed the rope, keeping everything within that, this line here.
Yep.
And so I think if there's a demarcation line easy with that rope,
Mhm.
everything stays in there.
Let me put it this way. If this is approved, I will have a meeting with all staff members, every staff member saying, these are the rules, okay? And if you break them, we lose our permit and you lose your source of income.
One suggestion. Make it 22 inches instead of 20. I'm just picturing a server. I'm looking at size of.
Well, that's easy to do. I mean, we can do that, yeah.
You still got way more than 36 inches if we approve 22.
Well, I think if you just go with, the line is sort of an
Yeah,
easy thing.
I know,
Because
so yeah, move it another couple of inches, what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I think if we go with that line, then that's an easy thing when people walk by, you can
That'd
easily
be
see
fine.
it. Nobody has to measure anything.
It's going with the sidewalk
No,
line.
I understand.
Yeah, so
It
that,
allows you to move it out.
So it's interesting enough, the Central Street side, which I don't know whether I'm gonna put chairs out or not, I mean, tables out, there's more room than here. You pick up another almost foot out
Okay.
there. Of 6 inches.
Lisa, I just want to make sure you saw
There's
that.
more space between the.
I have it.
Okay, I just want to make
And
sure.
the curb.
Frank, are you okay with that? Like, this, using this line as the guidepost?
Not really.
Okay, talk
Why?
to us more
Why?
about that.
Well, again, we're here making special
Yeah.
permissions for you to do things, and I think that granting special permissions creates a perception of unfairness among citizens who don't receive similar treatment, ending trust in local government. Special permissions can set a precedent for future requests, leading to a slippery slope of more demands and potentially compromising our standards. Special permissions can exacerbate social and economic inequalities by favoring certain individuals or groups over others. So if we go ahead and we give this space, that means we should give everyone that space.
Like with the 3 feet, is that what you're speaking?
Yeah.
Okay.
The special permissions can also undermine the public trust and integrity of our local government. So that's why I think that, I can personally approve this.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
I think it's important to note that in this small rural town of Woodstock, Vermont, this is not a corporate city environment, and the community enjoys what Bob's presenting. I think it's in the interest of the community and people who've enjoyed that space. And I know personally, I've enjoyed looking at people enjoying that for the past 5 years. I think it's important to think of that there's a good community reason to make an exception. And that other people, I don't see other people asking for the same thing for any purpose that.
Except for the sidewalk sale, it's
Except-
happening right now.
Well,
The
actually.
sidewalk sale, except for the sidewalk sale, which, we need to.
Well, but we told them 3 feet.
Right, and they
We've
need
also
to,
told the village butcher 3 feet.
and they need to maintain that,
Yeah.
both, the 3 feet, I'm in total agreement
Yeah.
with that. I'm just stating why I think this is a good idea in the name of the community.
Completely agree with what Jeffrey said. This is a small town. We have a small group of people that we work with. We need to support local business. And we need to understand that our town isn't set up in a perfect fashion. We don't have wide sidewalks. We don't have great parking situations. And these are unfortunately all the things that we need to try to figure out how to work with and make work for everyone. So I agree.
So,
Maybe to work at 9.
I would hope that you get your barriers and your chains in ASAP. Tuesday would be fine, but not after Tuesday. Because that's when you said you'd commit to it.
I can help you out with that.
Only because this is not pretty.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah, and so
I
you
know
committed to Tuesdays.
I don't want that either.
So it'd be great if you could finish that. The other thing is, I am going to vote for it because I consider this village a food emergency. And that's why I encouraged you to open on Monday, and I would like to see you try as much as you can, because that is our day that has the least number of restaurants.
Mhm.
And therefore, your staff would most likely make the most amount of money. Profits would be much higher on a Monday. So that's that other side of that. Maybe they could take Tuesday off. I don't know. But anyways, that and I hope that every year you apply for the permit within the regulation that you not forget, because we don't want to have this next year. Or other people think next year, oops, we're late. So, I'm stating in that fact that, I consider this an emergency for the economy of the village. So like I said, I encourage you to get Monday open and, change these barriers as soon as you can.
I second what Lisa just said
Yeah.
about Mondays.
And we really need Monday badly. So if you can
I
consider
mean,
that.
people do realize the staffing situation in the town of Woodstock. I mean, do you really?
do.
Oh, I truly, we
do.
get it.
We get it, We're just asking, maybe consider having a different day off.
Right, that's what I'm considering. And only because it's Monday. There's-
No, I know. I believe me, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
And so I agree with, I would agree with Frank on the exceptions to the rules. The only reason I'm willing to do it here is that we have, rightly or wrongly, set a precedent over the last few years for allowing or with sidewalk permits going with the 3 feet. I think this is something we obviously need to look at, and it's within our purview to make that exception because the national regulation is 3 feet. Ours is more strict at 5 feet, but we are within the ADA allowed to make that decision. I do think that this is something, Eric, added to our to-do list, to revisit this and have a public conversation about it, possibly change it, but that's not a today thing. So because we've set the precedent of 3 feet, I'm okay with the 3 feet, but I'm going to be, we need to abide by it, and stick with it I agree with, Lisa about the barriers, like this can't,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that can't don't put this out, I don't want that out for Memorial Day. I mean, I don't want it out ever. So I would say my recommendation to the board would be that this doesn't go live until you get the new barriers. For a variety of reasons, not just because it's not great looking, but because that looks like a huge tripping hazard to me.
What I'm going to do is, I've got two options. One is to put planters out or stanchions with poles coming out of them, a wooden pole even, and having the rope tied to those, okay? And I went to Home Depot yesterday, basically picked them out, and they will be fine, and they'll be about, about 3 feet off the ground, 2 feet off the ground. And just put something in there and put the ropes along there, and it'll look fine.
And those are gonna stay within your number of feet. They're not gonna go out into the.
Oh, no.
Okay, I just want to
No,
confirm that.
No. They'll sit in the circle where the stanchions are, so basically it'll be the same. They won't take up any more sidewalk space now. No. Be about the same circumference as the cones that you see now.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they don't have to be big, they just have to be
Yeah, that's fine.
sturdy enough
So you guys-
to have a pole in them.
Yeah, I just have, just one more question, just one more comment. When you were talking about the staffing.
Yeah.
So you currently have staff to manage 125 seats? You said that's what.
Basically, yeah, well, okay, don't forget, we've been very slow, so yes, the answer is yes. Now, as of today really starts to pick up the business. Hopefully, I will have an extra staff on today,
Okay.
but they're hard to come by. Okay?
So-
You don't just pick the phone up and say, hey, by the way, okay, you're waiting in the bullpen, you've waited for 3 months, come on in. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, I just want to confirm, because one of the reasons that we've heard here and then we've heard from you is that you want to be able to maximize the income, which is your business
Yep.
as well you should. So going from 125 to 130,
Yeah,
whatever.
but see, I will not be opening up all those tables and seats. I'll open up as many as I have staffing for.
Okay,
The rest of them, the chairs will be up against them. They will not be used.
okay,
I gotta get it.
Will not be used.
okay. So is there any further discussion? No questions? Eric, no? Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay, with the.
I make a motion to accept with the rules that, Bob is going to, make the outside area look pretty, that he's going to abide by that he's gonna abide by the rule of following the line in the
Yep.
sidewalk, that you make sure that your staff stays within the ropes, and that you make it look as beautiful as possible.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? One opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Next
you.
item on the agenda is adjourning. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Yay.
Thank you.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, no. Go make people beautiful.
Okay. See you later, Brian. Eddie.